The most disciplined individuals do not rely on willpower. They rely on identity. When behavior is tied to identity, it becomes non-negotiable. Motivation feels powerful in a moment. It convinces you that change is inevitable, that this time will be different. But if motivation were enough, you would already be where you want to be. The real problem is not a lack of desire. It is a misunderstanding of what sustains action, because motivation is emotional, and emotion is unstable. Discipline is not. Here are 7 key points to note. 1. The illusion of motivation. Motivation is often treated as the starting point of action, but in reality it is a reaction. It appears after something stimulates you. A video, a conversation, a moment of frustration, a glimpse of possibility. It is temporary alignment between your current state and a desired future. But alignment does not last. Your emotional state changes. Energy drops. Stress increases. Discomfort appears. And when that happens, motivation fades. Not because you are inconsistent, but because motivation was never designed to be consistent. It is a spark, not a system. 2. The brain's energy economy. Your brain is constantly conserving energy. This is not laziness, it is efficiency. Every action you take is evaluated subconsciously. The brain asks, is this necessary right now? Motivated states temporarily override this filter. They create urgency. But discipline operates differently. Discipline requires you to act without emotional urgency, and that creates friction. Because from the brain's perspective, effort is costly. Discomfort is a threat. Uncertain reward is low priority. So when motivation disappears, your brain returns to its default setting: minimum effort, maximum comfort. That is why relying on motivation guarantees inconsistency. 3. The failure point. Most people do not fail at the beginning. They fail at the moment motivation fades. That moment is predictable. The workout feels harder than expected. The task becomes repetitive. Progress slows down. Results are not immediate. This creates a psychological gap. Expectation meets reality. And reality is less exciting. In that gap, the brain offers an alternative. Relief. Skip today. Rest longer. Do it later. And because motivation is already gone, there is no emotional resistance. So the behavior stops, not because the goal changed, but because the feeling did. 4. Discipline as a system. Discipline is often misunderstood as intensity. It is not. It is structure. Discipline removes the need to decide repeatedly, because decision-making is where motivation fluctuates. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" discipline replaces the question with, "This is what I do." It is pre-committed behavior. Scheduled, repeated, expected. This reduces cognitive load. And more importantly, it bypasses emotion. You are no longer negotiating with your feelings. You are executing a pattern. 5. Identity over emotion. The most disciplined individuals do not rely on willpower. They rely on identity. When behavior is tied to identity, it becomes non-negotiable. A person who sees themselves as disciplined does not wait to feel ready. because readiness is irrelevant. They act because it aligns with who they are. This is why discipline appears effortless from the outside. It is not easier. It is just decided. Every repetition reinforces that identity, and over time, the behavior requires less resistance. Not because it becomes enjoyable, but because it becomes normal. 6. Friction and automation. Discipline is built through environment design, not internal struggle. You reduce friction for desired behaviors. Prepare in advance. Remove distractions. Simplify starting. And you increase friction for undesired ones. Delay access. Add inconvenience. Interrupt patterns. This shifts behavior without relying on motivation, because the easier path becomes the disciplined one. Over time, repetition turns action into automation, and automation removes the need for effortful control. This is where discipline becomes sustainable. 7. The reality of consistency. Consistency is not doing things perfectly. It is doing them when you don't feel like it. That is the defining moment. Anyone can act when motivated. Very few act when neutral, or tired, or distracted. But those are the moments that shape outcomes, because success is not built in peaks of motivation. It is built in low-energy decisions, quiet repetitions, unremarkable days that most people skip. Across all of this, one thing becomes clear. Motivation will start the process, but it will not finish it. Discipline is what carries you. When motivation disappears, and it will disappear, the question is not whether you feel ready. The question is whether you act anyway. Train your discipline, or remain dependent on a feeling that never stays.